It's your girl Roxie with Roxiie Says, and we're going to talk about it. Today, we are reviewing Season 3, Episodes 5 and 6 of Traitors US. I know my video is late, but baby, I was on vacation. I really needed it, and I'm so thankful for it. But I'm so happy to be back here with y'all to discuss these two episodes because what is going on? Let's get right into this video. But before we do, please do not forget to hit like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure that you hit that notification bell so that you are made aware every time I post a new video. All right, so let's get into it. Episode 5 picks up right where we fell off, and everyone is still reeling about Bob the drag queen being banished, okay? And Boston, Rob, and Dylan, they're still on their high horse, and Carolyn and Danielle are realizing that they are not a team as traitors, all right? And we really gonna see how much they're not a team when we get to episode 6, okay? So they're in the turret, and they are pissed AF, and B-Rob can tell, so he tries to reassure them by saying, look, I would never do that to you. I will never come for y'all like that unless you come for me the way that Bob the drag queen did. And Caroline is trying to justify it by saying that Bob the drag queen never said B-Rob's name. But Carolyn, there are only 3 new guys, okay? There are only 3 new guys. Bob the drag queen did not have to explicitly say B-Rob's name for everyone to look at him sideways. And you know this, girl. You know this. So they move on to see who they want to pick for the next Red Rum. And they mention Sam. And let me tell you, when they mentioned Sam, it's so funny because I was watching one of Tammy Talks' previous Traitors reviews. Shout out to Tammy Talks. And she had mentioned Sam. And the way I had to Google who Sam was, because I totally forgot who he was. I don't remember him in any scenes, nothing. But Sam is Britney Spears' ex-boyfriend, baby. I still don't know, okay? But they mentioned Sam, but they quickly move on to another option because B-Rob doesn't even see him as a threat, but he is looking at Robin. And I'm like, why are y'all so stuck on Robin and the rest of the housewives? Why? But the ladies say that they would rather send home Gabby so that they can break up the Bambis. Listen, for me, if I was a traitor, I would want to keep Robin there for as long as I possibly can because she already has people suspecting that she is a traitor. Keep her there so it can take some of the heat off of the actual traitors, but whatever. They make their decision, and of course, we will find out eventually. But Danielle says in her confessional that she wants to take out Boston Rob, but she knows that she's going to have to bring her A game to take out Boston Rob because he is a force to be reckoned with and everyone is afraid of him, okay? So next we see everyone, they're coming in for breakfast and they're super excited because they have found their first traitor. And B-Rob is already prepared that there's going to be suspicion on him because of how sure he was that Bob the drag queen was a traitor. And Nikki is nervous that people still think that she's a traitor because she was part of the coffin crew, okay? And this is exactly what the traitors wanted, but she really doesn't feel like going around and pleading her case to everybody. Nikki seems to be over it, okay? So child Carolyn, she comes in looking lost as usual. She's looking around. She's like, huh, what's going on? Oh, we're eating breakfast? Oh, okay. And she is really playing it up. She really is. And it is working extremely well for her. Meanwhile, Danielle says that she wants to get another traitor who she can team up with to take out Boston Rob because she doesn't think that Carolyn can handle the task. But oh baby, we gonna see that Carolyn can handle herself very well. Very well. And actually, Danielle, she's doing a way better job at concealing her traitor identity than you are. So you might want to take some notes from Carolyn, all right? Because a couple people have already said your name at this point. So child, we learned that the person who was red rummed last night was none other than Robin. Horrible decision in my opinion. Ooh, the fire. Horrible decision in my opinion, but okay, what we gonna do about it, right? So in the turret, we see that B-Rob actually thought that Robin would be the perfect person to red rum because he felt like she has no sus on her. And I'm like, what? Where have you been? There has always been sus on Robin for being a traitor. That's not true at all. But of course, Danielle agrees because all she wants to do is stay on B-Rob's good side in his face while behind his back, she's secretly trying to take him out, okay? And she's really laying it on thick and she's like, you know what, B-Rob, you're the master at this game, okay? So I'm just gonna go with what you say. And I'm like, Danielle, chill out, sis. Chill out, all right? And although Carolyn isn't with it, she's never with it. She eventually agrees and they have decided on Robin, all right? And of course, when Robin finds out, she is pissed. She is absolutely pissed, but she isn't surprised because she knows that they saw her as a threat. And I have to say that as much as Robin would annoy me on Real Housewives of Potomac, I absolutely love her on Traitors, and I am really sad to see her go, okay? So now Alan, he comes in and he shades Robin as usual. You know, he always makes a little shady comment, and he gives them a little hint on the upcoming challenge. So Dorinda is upset because Robin is gone and she thinks that she will definitely be next. And we see Ivar telling Derek and Carolyn about Wes's theory concerning Boston Rob being a traitor. Remember in the previous episode, he said, how would anyone know for sure that someone is a traitor unless they are to a traitor, right? So while that's going on, people are whispering about Nikki being a traitor, little and then we see the ladies in the Bambi group, and I originally thought, I could swear that when they mentioned their group in the beginning, they wanted it to be somewhat of a secret. They didn't want people to know that they had this alliance, but now they're so vocal about it. Hey, you want to be in our Bambi group? Girl, if you don't shut up. Because why y'all making it known and asking people if they want to join? I know it's a joke, but y'all would have definitely done better if you kept that group a secret, okay? Then we see Ivar telling Boston Rob that Wes is pretty much telling everyone that he is a traitor. Ivar, you a little tattletale. You are a little tattletale, aren't you? And you know that B-Rob doesn't play that. The second that he finds out that someone has his name in their mouth, oh, he's going to come after you, okay? So he immediately goes to Wes and he's like, what's up, Wes? I heard you've been talking shit. I heard you've been talking shit saying that I'm a traitor. And Wes is like, no, me? No. 100% no, that's not true. Actually, what I was doing was complimenting you. Yeah, I was telling everyone how badass you were at the round table. I would never suggest that you were a traitor, child. But I know damn well B-Rob didn't believe a damn word that was coming out of Wes's mouth, okay? And I think I saw Wes wet his pants. I can be wrong. I might be wrong, but I looked really closely. I think I saw that he wet his pants during that conversation with B-Rob. So next we see Boston Rob. He runs to his fellow traitor Carolyn and he tells her that he has her back all the way, no matter what. But this does not bring Carolyn much comfort because she saw how he just did their fellow traitor Bob the drag queen. And now Danielle is having a secret conversation with Carolyn because she wants to put the feelers out and see if Carolyn would be willing to take B-Rob out with her. But Danielle leaves that conversation with full intentions to throw Carolyn completely under the bus if she needs to. And I'm like, oh girl, we already know that's how you get down. That's what you did to your ride and die Bob the drag queen, right? Yeah, got it. Okay, so it's challenge time, and I really liked this challenge because it's riddles. I love riddles. So Alan will tell them a riddle, and the answer to each riddle will be written on one of the urns. If you think that you know the answer, you must step over the candles, and you have 20 seconds to find the urn with the correct answer. Smash the urn on the ground, and if your answer is correct, yellow ashes will come out of that urn, and you will bank $2,500, okay? But if you choose the wrong answer and you smash it on the ground, black dust will come out and you will be eliminated, all right? But wait, there's more. Anyone who answers correctly gets to put anyone's portrait in one of the two frames, right? One of the two frames that will have you shielded from red rum, okay? And anyone who subsequently answers correctly can then remove and replace the portrait with their own or with a portrait of whoever they choose, okay? The last two portraits in the frames will be the people who are shielded. So of course, if I was playing this game, I would try to wait till the end. Even if I know the answers, I'm going to try to wait it out a little bit to the end so I have more of a chance of my picture remaining in the frame. All right. So Alan reads the first riddle and Bob H, he gets up first. He has no idea what the answer is, nor does he even know what the riddle is. He said he doesn't remember it. He didn't hear it, but he says that he just wants a shield. And I'm like, Bobby boy, this is definitely not the way to get it. So he picks the answer shield. It's wrong, and he knows that it's wrong. And when he smashes the urn, all the powder is black, and he is automatically eliminated. Great job, Bob H. What was that, Bob H? Come on now. And Alan tells everyone not to speak to him because he's a loser. When I tell you, I was cracking up at that. Alan is too much. So the game goes on, and I feel like the rest of the riddles were very easy to figure out. For example, this one said, when things go wrong with your plans, take a good look at the hands, and under close inspection, you will find the right direction. What is that? And I was screaming at my computer. I was like, a compass. So Derek beats Tom over the candle line, and he's correct. He gets the $2,500, and he places his own picture in the shield frame, which I thought was very normal and which is what I would expect everyone playing this game to do, okay? That's what I would do. My picture is going in the frame as well. So next we see Tom. He gets an answer correct, and of course, he puts his own photo in the second frame. Child, next we see Danielle. I don't know what was in Danielle's breakfast this morning, but her decision making from here on out, absolutely ridiculous. I don't know what's going on with Danielle, child. I really don't know. Okay, so she gets the answer correct, okay? She gets the answer correct. And to look more like a faithful, in her mind, to look more like a faithful, she decides, she decides to save a housewife. And everyone is looking at her like, girl, what are you doing? Just put your damn picture in the frame. What are you doing? But not only does she want to save a housewife, okay, she's not going to put her own picture in. She wants to save a housewife. She also selects Dolores and replaces whose picture? Whose picture? Do you think that she picked Tom, right? Because Danielle doesn't really have a relationship with Tom. She doesn't really know Tom like that. Or do you think that she selected Derek's picture? Someone who she has somewhat of a friendship with, someone who when he first came in the game, she made sure to reach out to him and they developed an allyship. Who do you think that she chose, Tom or Derek? Danielle chose Derek to replace, and even Tom was shocked. Like, what is going on? What is this lady doing? And she says the reason why she replaced Derek with Dolores and not Tom is because Derek didn't give her a shield and she was begging him for a shield during that first competition. Baby, the way I was cracking up and irritated during this scene at the same damn time, because Danielle, what the was that? Seriously, someone please let me know. But wait, she ain't done yet. So we see more people win and more people lose. And now we're back with Danielle and she gets her answer right again. And again, instead of putting herself on the board, she puts Derek's photo back on the board and she's like, Derek, you owe me one. And by this time, it's Dolores and Chrishell's pictures who are in the little shield frames, okay? And Danielle is like, look, I still got to protect the housewife. Danielle, if you don't sit your ass down, if you don't sit down, and I know she cringed when she watched this scene back. I know she did. She had to, because this is just stupid. You don't look like a selfless faithful. You just look like a dumb traitor. That's how you look. And no one's falling for it, to the point where Dolores is getting annoyed by it now. And I honestly feel like Dolores is thinking, look, I don't know what's going on with Danielle, but she's looking suspicious right now. And I don't want anyone to think that her and I are any type of cahoots, because that's what I would be thinking. I would be trying to distance myself from Danielle in this moment because she's acting hella shady, okay? And Dolores is like, look, you aren't afraid to get red rum? You had 2 opportunities to put your face on the board and you chose someone else. You not shook by that? You're not worried at all, huh? And everyone starts looking like, yeah, because that's a good question, Dolores. So she starts shaking. Danielle is shaking and she's like, oh, and she starts crying. And she's like, I don't know if I made the right decision. I don't know what I did. And Dolores is like, look, girl, you can't just sit here crying like this. You know what? I don't even want your little shield. Dolores is like, I'm good. I don't want it. I don't need you to protect me. I'm good. And everyone is looking at Danielle like she is crazy. So look, it's time for the last question. Sierra gets it correct and she replaces Derek's picture with her own, which is normal behavior, okay? And of course, we all know that Sierra needs a shield because she is part of that coffin crew and both Jeremy and Nikki are gone at this point. So I'm happy that she got her little piece of protection. So her and Dolores are safe, but they can still be banished at the round table, all right? And of course, on the way back, everyone is talking about Danielle, but Danielle says that she has a theory and she believes that the traitors left Sierra and Nikki here to get banished. And she thinks that the traitor is a female, but no one is going to say who they think it is, but she knows who it is. And that name is Carolyn, baby. Baby, Danielle. Wrong road, Danielle. Wrong road. And no one in the truck agrees with her. No one says, yeah, you know what? I think it's Carolyn too. You know what? Yeah, Carolyn is sus. Not a peep. That's usually what we see when someone brings a theory to someone else. You'll usually at least have one person like, you know what? Yeah, she is acting weird. He is acting weird. This time, it was nothing but crickets, okay? Even when they got out of the truck, Danielle is still trying to convince Dylan, and he's like, nah, sorry, girl, I don't believe it. I don't believe it at all. I feel like Danielle saying that only made her look even more suspicious than she already did, especially after what she just pulled at this challenge. So now she's running around the house trying to convince everyone that Carolyn is a traitor, and it is not working. She thought that she was going to Boston rob this. Girl, you thought that's what was going to happen, but no one is able to believe that quirky Carolyn could ever handle being a traitor. So because Danielle is so desperate, she has a conversation with Brittany, and she actually lies to Brittany and says that Carolyn has been saying her name around the castle. This is all going to come back to bite Danielle in the ass in the worst way, because she already knows that she can't trust Brittany. She learned that when she was on Big Brother with her. So at this point, I'm like, if Danielle gets banished tonight, I wouldn't even feel bad. I wouldn't even feel bad, because she is playing a dangerous game and she is playing it sloppily, okay? So now we get Chrishell's scary behind, and she pulls B-Rob aside and she's like, I have a theory. And she says, I'm so sorry. Chrishell annoys me. I'm so sorry. She really annoys me, especially in these 2 episodes. I can't. Okay, so she pulls B-Rob aside and she says, I have a theory. I have a theory. Okay, when we were in the car going home, okay, we were talking about Bob the drag queen getting banished. And when I said that, Nikki made a face. Nikki made a face. So now I think that she's a traitor. Girl, what? Girl, Chrishell, first of all, if that is your theory, you bring it to the round table. You do it. Don't ask B-Rob to do it. And like I said in my previous reviews, when it comes to that round table, Chrishell always has to give this long apology before she says who she's voting for. Maybe it's part of her strategy, I don't know, but she begs B-Rob to get her theory out there and not let anyone know that she's the one who's putting Nikki's name out there, because they're so close and they're best friends in the whole wide world. Chrishell, bye, because at this point, Nikki already knows that the whole house is buzzing her name, and she's over it, because she's like, look, the traitors are playing everyone with this coffin crew thing, and she's not gonna run around and cop a plea to everyone else. She's just not doing it. But Gabby lets her know, look, girl, don't worry about it. I got your back, sis. I got your back till the end. Don't you worry, okay? So it's round table time, and of course, Sierra and Nikki are the most concerned. But Boston Rob feels a little anxious tonight too, because he knows that he might need to put some work in if they try to call him out at this round table. So baby, as soon as Alan gives them the floor, we see Ivor. He calls out Nikki, Sierra, and Boston Rob as the people who everyone has been talking about this week. And he brings up how harshly B-Rob went for Bob the drag queen. And he wants B-Rob to convince everyone at this table that he isn't a traitor. I said, well, okay, Ivor. All right. But Boston Rob says that he felt such conviction to Bob the drag queen because of how he projected when he first brought his name up at the round table. And he says that he felt so strongly and he stuck with his guns, and it all worked out in the end. So then Sierra starts to plead her faith, and she says that she may have changed since the whole coffin situation, but it's only because she's been keeping her guard up and she's been staying distant because she doesn't know who put her there. She doesn't know who's setting her up, but she does want to take the opportunity to call out Nikki. She's like, I do think that Nikki's a traitor. And then Nikki's like, well, girl, I think that you're a traitor. And I don't even know if Sierra truly believes that Nikki is a traitor, but it's really the only way that she can save her own ass at this point, right? Because I feel like in her mind, look, it's either going to be Nikki or it's going to be me, okay? And Sierra's reasoning didn't even make sense. She says that the reason why she feels that Nikki is a traitor is because she's been too calm. Sierra, girl, you could have came up with something better than that. And that's really funny, because last week they were coming for you because you cursed too much. Another stupid reason. So you going to turn around and do the same thing this week? I guess. I understand. Save your own ass, all right? So finally, Chrishell, she puts on her big girl panties and she speaks up. And she calls out Nikki, and she says that she just picks up on energies, okay? And she feels that Nikki's energy has shifted, and she's so sorry, but she's here to find traitors and she's not here to make friends. And then that's when Bob H brings up the theory of how badass it would be for Boston Rob to come in as a traitor and immediately take out another traitor on the same night. And he's right, because not only would that have taken the focus off of B-Rob, but it also has caused everyone to look at him as some type of god or a king or the go-to when it's time to get someone out of the house. Because now everyone is looking at Boston Rob as the big dog who they need to listen to, all right? So it's finally time to vote. and everyone is voting for Nikki based on nothing other than the fact that she was in a coffin and what Sierra said she's been too quiet, girl. And Chrishell's energy reading. And you know Chrishell had to give an apology speech during this vote as well. We also see Dylan, and he kind of rocks the boat by voting for Gabby because he feels like people are only voting for Nikki and Sierra because they were in the coffin. Like I've been saying, Dylan is very observant. I really like him. I feel like he's thinking in this game. He's trying to see the bigger picture, and he completely sees the ploy with this whole coffin situation, all right? So Nikki and Sierra, they both vote for each other, of course, but damn, these votes are really coming in for Nikki. When it's B-Rob's turn, he votes for Nikki, and he does like a, I don't really know if you're a traitor. I'm not sure. But what Chrishell said really swayed me. The way I screamed, I cannot with Boston Rob, because you know damn well that Nikki isn't a traitor. But boy, I can't. But the most hurtful moment, I'm so sure, was when Gabby voted for Nikki. It was almost like the moment when Danielle voted for Bob the drag queen. Nikki was just like, you know what, y'all all some idiots. I know she was so pissed because we just heard Gabby say, I got your back, girl. I'm with you till the end. We together till the end of this. And that is exactly not what happened, but that is the name of this game. So of course, Nikki is banished, but it is the circle of truth time, and I could not wait to see the looks on all their faces, especially Chrishell with her little energy reading, okay? So she lets them know that they need to stop judging people based on how they act and how they think someone should react in a particular situation because everyone is different, which is true. And she says the good thing about this is at least she gets to go home and spend time with her son. But baby, when she tells them that she is a faithful, everyone is shocked, and of course, Chrishell and Gabby are upset. Nikki really hates that her homegirls didn't stick up for her during this roundtable, and Dylan is sitting there reminding them, he's like, all of y'all voted for Nikki? I'm the only one who didn't vote for Nikki? Wow, that's crazy. Dylan really rubbed it in, and Sierra is crying, not because of Faithful went home, because she knows that she is next. She knows that she is part of this coffin crew, and now she is shook that Nikki went home and she is not a traitor. And I would be scared too if I were you, girl, all right? So of course, everyone is extremely sad and feeling dumb because the traitors keep slipping under the radar every week. And Chrishell is running around trying to apologize to everyone, but there's no time to waste, okay? Because Derek is already telling Wes that he too believes that B-Rob is a traitor, especially the way that he came for Bob the drag queen. So now him and Wes will team up to come get B-Rob. But then we see Dylan. He is telling Carolyn that her fellow traitor Danielle has put her name out there. Child, of course, Carolyn is shocked and she is upset, especially after what just happened with Bob the drag queen. See, now at this point, I wouldn't even be upset if Carolyn teamed up with B-Rob to get Danielle out of here because baby Danielle is moving mad, okay? Extremely mad. But what Carolyn does know for sure is that there is no team amongst the traitors. I feel like you should have been known that when you see what Boston Rob did to Bob the drag queen, but now you know, okay? And in this episode, what we about to start, episode 6, oh, you really gonna know, okay, baby? So now we are here at the turret in episode 6, and it's super awkward because they're all plotting against each other. But I love how Carolyn gets straight to the point in this episode. She says, look, Danielle, I heard you've been putting my name out there, and I don't like it. You were setting me up to get banished. And I said, Look at Carolyn. You better go ahead with your bad self. She is finally standing her ground instead of just making faces, okay? And Danielle is swearing up and down that she was not trying to get Carolyn banished, but the reason why she didn't come to her first was because Carolyn didn't come to Danielle when Jeremy was saying her name. Now, I did think that it was hella shady of Carolyn not to give Danielle the heads up. Remember when Jeremy was talking shit about her? But Danielle, this is not the same, okay? In that situation, Jeremy was talking about you. In this situation, you're the one who's going around talking about your fellow traitor. It is not the same. Don't do it, okay? But Carolyn is talking about, I came to you as soon as I could. I really did. No, you didn't, Carolyn. No, you didn't. But you know who did come to Danielle as soon as they could? Bob the drag queen. And you still voted against him, Danielle. So what are we even talking about? What are we even talking about? So they're all arguing, and Carolyn starts going off, and she lets them know that they are not a team and that there's no one that she wants to red rum more right now than the both of them. them, B-Rob and Danielle. And I feel her on that. I really do. So at this point, Danielle is like, look, we're just a dysfunctional family. It's all good. We can just start over from scratch and I'll make everything all right. And she apologizes to Carolyn. It's not really resolved, but they decide to table the conversation for now, okay? So B-Rob knows that Wes is a threat to him, but if they red rum him, everyone will automatically look at B-Rob as a traitor, even more than they already are, right? So he knows that BH's name is out there, but they don't like the idea. Danielle and Carolyn do not like the idea of getting rid of BH, but they ultimately have to decide between Ivor, Bob H. Did I say BH? Ivor, Bob H, and Wes, okay? So the traitors, they end up hugging it out. They have a little kumbaya moment, but we know that that don't mean shit. We know that because remember, B-Rob and Carolyn, they still have their little side alliance behind Danielle's back, all right? So, child, it is breakfast time, and you know emotions are high and the theories are flowing. And Sierra actually says that maybe B-Rob is a traitor, and he got Bob the drag queen out to kind of show up, you know, show his dominance and put his, you know, his D on the table amongst the other traitors. But they all pretty much feel like B-Rob is a traitor at this point. And Derek says, look, look, after that round table that we had last night, if Boston Rob walks his ass into this breakfast room, there is no way that he isn't a traitor. So, child, when Boston Rob walks in, Derek, he plays it off. He's like, hey, man, how you doing? How you doing? But his wheels are turning, okay? So now we are down to the last 4 people. Wes, Ivor, Bob H, and Danielle. And we find out that the person who got red rum last night was none other than Bob H, okay? Bob H. And look, I know, B-Rob, I know you want to get rid of everyone who calls you out, but people are going to start to notice this pattern. Bob the drag queen called you out. Well, he called the new guys out, but you are in that group. He gets red rum. Then Bob H calls you out at the round table, and then he gets red rum. You better watch your back, B-Rob, okay? So now we see the traitors. They're at the turret, and B-Rob says that he thinks that Bob H is more of a threat to him than Wes, so he needs to go now. But honestly, Wes is the one who's been going around and telling everyone his little theory about you, B-Rob, okay? He just lied to you when you asked him about it. Again, Danielle just agrees with B-Rob, and Carolyn goes along with it, even though she doesn't agree with the decision. And of course, we see Bob H. He's extremely angry, and he thinks that the traitors are playing a very dangerous game. I really liked Bob H as well, and I'm sad to see him go, child, but that's the game. So now y'all know how it goes after breakfast. Everyone is scurrying around like little rats, telling each other what they think, who they think is a traitor, who they think is a faithful. So Tom thinks that Dolores is a traitor, and he's telling as many people as he possibly can. B-Rob is telling Ivor and Dolores that his eye is on Wes because of how sure Wes was about Nikki. And as soon as he said that, Ivor gave him a look. And I feel like the reason why he looked at him like that is because he's starting to pick up on B-Rob's pattern that I just mentioned. But then we see Wes and Derek, and they link up to put their plan in motion to get rid of B-Rob. So now, child, a lot was going on. Now, Wes seems like he's a little scared. Okay, remember before, Wes was so confident. He was like, how does someone know if someone is a traitor? Only if they're a traitor themselves. But now when it's brought back up to him, he's a little shook. He doesn't want to really bring it to the front. And he says, look, here's what I'll do. If enough people start voting for B-Rob, then I'll pile on with it. But where's the energy that you had before, Wes? I'm not feeling that. I'm not feeling that. Clearly, he is shook. I told you I saw some pee-pee on his pants, all right? So, child, next we see Carolyn and Brittany, and they're having a conversation. And Brittany is telling Carolyn that someone told her that Carolyn has said her name, and Carolyn is swearing up and down on her life. She says, look, I have never, ever put your name out there. I don't know who's saying it, but it's not true. But of course, Brittany doesn't want to tell her who said it. And I hate stuff like that. Look, either tell me everything or shut up. Don't tell me anything at all, okay? I don't got time for these games. However, Carolyn is smarter than they give her credit for because she automatically knows that it's Danielle who told Brittany that lie. So that little hug that they did in the terror, oh, we a family, but we just going through something. No, that shit is over with, okay? It's done. It's over for that because it is completely clear to Carolyn that Danielle is trying to get her banished, okay? So, child, now it is time for their next mission. They pull up to this giant traitor statue, and all they have to do is unlock a bunch of crates hidden in the woods by answering a numbers-based question correctly to open the lock, okay? If they answer it incorrectly, the crate will explode. They must get all of the gunpowder from the crates and put it into the barrels, and in 30 minutes, Alan will press on a detonator in order to topple the huge traitor statue, and the mission is all or nothing because if they don't get all of the powder into that barrel, enough powder to where when Alan presses that detonator down, it explodes and topples the traitor. They win absolutely nothing. But wait, there's more. 3 of those crates have a shield. And as we all know, a shield will protect you from red rum. All right, so they're off. They're running, and Ivor is out of breath, and Gabby jokes about leaving his ass behind because he's just moving too slow. So they split up because that's what Alan suggested. And we quickly see that everyone cares more about getting a shield than getting the money, all right? Especially Derek and Wes, because they want to come for B-Rob tonight, and they'll feel a lot safer doing it if they know that they have a shield. But we see Tom's team, they get to the crate first, and the question asks how many players were left on the pontoons during the first mission. They give the correct answer, which is 8. And then we see Carolyn and Tom go back and forth about who's gonna get the shield. Baby, both of them reach for the shield. Carolyn did touch it first. And Tom is like, wait, do you mind? And Carolyn is like, what? I picked it up first. I thought it was mine. And Tom is like, well, I thought that we were going to have like a conversation about it. But Tom, you know damn well if you picked that shield up first, you wouldn't want to talk about anything. You wouldn't want to talk about anything. You'd be like, I have it first. I have the shield. Now you want to talk about it? Boy, bye. So Danielle says that if they don't say exactly who is shielded, that means that they will all be protected. So don't say anything. No matter who keeps the shield, don't say anything. So now we see the second team, they get the shield, and it's a big difference from how the first team handled it. No one reached for the shield. They actually do talk about it, and they say, you know what? Let's decide with a game of rock, paper, scissors. And Dylan, he wins the shield. Come to find out, he actually won a whole rock, paper, scissors tournament. So he had a very big advantage in that game over the others. I'm sure that they would have picked something different had they known that, but they didn't. So now we see Chrishell, Dylan, and Carolyn have the shields, but everyone agrees to keep the shield status a secret, all right? So with less than 10 minutes left, they finally start bringing the gunpowder to the barrels, and Carolyn, she takes the opportunity to ask Gabby who's been saying her name in the castle, and Gabby actually lets her know that it is Danielle. And Carolyn is really doing a great job at concealing her identity as a traitor. I love how she's playing this because she does look genuinely hurt, like, oh my God, I can't believe she would say this. I'm not a traitor. This is horrible. Carolyn, you're doing great, sweetie. You're doing great, all right? So eventually they do get enough powder with not even a second to spare, and they topple the giant traitor, and they win the $30,000. And Alan lets everyone know that all 3 shields were collected, but of course, no one is willing to say who has the actual shields. So now on the way home, Carolyn is doubling down on her decision to call Danielle out tonight at that round table. And as soon as they get home, we see Wes, he's on the job, and he tells Dolores that Tom has been saying her name to everyone. Listen, Wes is gonna run around and tell everyone who said what, but don't check him on it though. Don't check him on it because he gonna lie, and he gonna piss his pants, all right? But Dolores says, look, I don't give a damn about Tom. No one takes him seriously. No one cares what he has to say, all right? Meanwhile, Derek is running around and he's trying to get everyone on board with taking out Boston Rob tonight. He goes to Ivar, but it's clear that Ivar is very apprehensive as well. And while Derek is doing that, Boston Rob is putting Wes's name out there. And while that's happening, Carolyn is planting seeds for Danielle, but she isn't necessarily telling people that she thinks that Danielle is a traitor. She's just painting the picture that Danielle isn't a trustworthy person, okay? We also see Wes, he's running all around the house and he's trying to get more people on board with Derek's plan to get Boston Rob out during tonight's roundtable. But the way that he's been going about it, oh, he's gonna regret it. He's gonna regret it, all right? So Brittany is telling Derek what Wes has been saying about B-Rob, but she doesn't believe it. But all that did was make Derek suspicious of Brittany now because he feels that she's protecting Boston Rob because she is also a traitor. Child, this whole thing is an absolute mess because then Derek, he goes to Danielle and he asks her to support him tonight at the round table when he puts his vote in for you know who. And it's really funny because Derek is going around and he's like saying this, but it's almost like he's afraid to say Boston Rob's name. But this is really great for Danielle because now she doesn't even need to find another traitor to take Boston Rob out if Derek is already working on that all on his own. All she has to do is sit back, kick her feet up, and she gets to keep her hands clean and get Boston Rob out the house, okay? Then we we see Chrishell scary behind, and she's telling B-Rob to be ready for tonight because she keeps hearing his name and Wes's name as well. And she tells Boston Rob, look, you're going to need to be prepared to sway the vote in Wes's direction if it's between the two of you. And she tells him, look, I don't like how Wes speaks to me. That doesn't mean he's a traitor, but I don't like the way that he speaks to me. Chrishell, shut up. Shut up. Last week it was energy and you were loud and wrong. And now you're talking about you don't like how someone speaks to you. Loud and wrong again, girl. Again. Chrishell, don't piss me off, okay? So when Chrishell leaves and it's just B-Rob and Danielle, B-Rob asks her what she's heard, and she says that she's been hearing Wes. But she is fully aware that there's a whole plan to take Boston Rob out tonight, and of course she is not going to tell him because she wants his ass out of there too, all right? So baby, it is round table time. And at first everyone is quiet, but Dolores, she finally speaks up and she says, look, I heard you've been throwing my name around, Tom. Straight like that. See, these housewives, they're going to come and they're going to give it to you right in your face. They're not going to beat around the bush with it. And I really love how Dolores handled it. She's sitting there. She was looking like a damn mob boss, looking at Tom like, so what you got to say? And she tells Tom to explain why he's been running around saying her name. And she knows that whatever it is that he's going to say won't make any damn sense anyway. And I was like, girl, Dolores, you better get his ass. You better get his ass. And Tom's reasonings... Tom's reasoning was so dumb. He says the reason why he thinks that Dolores is a traitor is because she isn't asking enough questions. Tom! And it is so obvious that he has no real justification, to the point where even Derek was like, let's move on. Let's move on from this because we got more important stuff that we need to talk about. And this is a waste of time. So now Derek has the floor and he recants all of the events that have transpired since Bob the drag queen was banished. And he picks up on the pattern that Bob H was red-rummed after calling out Boston Rob at the last round table. And he's like, look, if I was a traitor, I wouldn't care how bad it made me look. I'm getting rid of anyone who was a threat to me, period. And that is exactly what happened. So child Derek, he even turns around to Alan and he was like, I think that you, Alan, made him a traitor. Yes, you did. And the whole table is nodding like they're in church service. And Derek is the preacher, baby. All right. So B-Rob, he starts making his case because you know he's not going to go down without a fight. And he reminds them that Bob the drag queen said himself that he lied about everything that he said before he left. Okay. But we know B-Rob, that is not how Bob the drag queen meant it. But I see how you're trying to flip it. Okay. And he says that he was terrified of being red-rummed and he thought that it would be between him or Ivor. But the traitors would never banish Ivor because they all know, everyone knows that Ivor is a faithful. Okay. That's what they truly believe. So B-Rob says that his mind was completely blown at breakfast when he saw that both him and Ivor were still in the game. And the traitors are very smart and they're keeping him in the game just so that they can put a target on his back and they don't have to waste a red rum on him. And immediately Derek starts backing down. Derek, you were doing good. You were doing so well. You were really confident. But the second that Boston Rob made his case, Derek, he like lost all his confidence. He really did for a moment, okay? So then Boston Rob, he says, look, who's been causing the most commotion this week, the most chaos? Who? And all of these names are going around. I heard your name, Carolyn. I heard your name, Danielle. I heard your name, Dolores. Who is it who's been running around saying all these names? And then he looks over to Wes, child. And look, Wes was shocked. He did not see this coming at all. The look on his face, pure and utter confusion, okay? But then he calls out what happened to a T, saying, look, Boston Rob and Bob the drag queen were traitors together. And Boston Rob turned on him after Bob the drag queen called out all of the new guys, right, at that previous challenge. The way that Wes clocked this to a T is amazing, And just 3 minutes later, on the way home during that little challenge they had, Wes lets everyone at the round table know that B-Rob had already told them, look, we need to get Bob the drag queen out of here. Out of here. And remember, I said it in my review, they weren't even in the trucks on the way home yet. After Bob the drag queen made that comment about everyone thinking that the three new guys are traitors, it was a wrap for him. B-Rob wanted him gone, and Wes clocked it. But B-Rob claims that that's a complete lie. That's not what happened. That is exactly what happened. That's what happened, and you know it is. You were on Bob the Drag Queen's ass, child. So Gabby and Chriselle, they jump in, and they also call out Wes for how he's been playing the game and trying to pressure everyone else to stick with him on his decisions. And they say that he's very aggressive. And the whole time, Derek is shook. He's shook because he sees the way that this roundtable is going. And he's like, no, because B-Rob needs to go home tonight. Derek is like, look, I came at him hard, and if he's not banished tonight, it's gonna be a problem for me, right? So Wes says, look, I apologize for being aggressive. That's just how I am, but I'll dial it back. But listen, let me tell you this. For the one or two of you who vote for me to get banished tonight, I got my eye on you. Wes, what? Why? What is, Wes, why would you say that? Why did you think that that was a smart thing to say in this moment? You were good. You were almost out of the woods. You were almost out of the woods. Why would you threaten the rest of the people during the round table? Are you stupid? I know a lot of y'all in the comments say that Wes is great. Maybe he's great at whatever show he's from. But this, oh baby, this was a dumb move. Dumb, all right? Because now everyone is looking at him like, oh, so you're threatening us? You're threatening us? Do you have the power to do something? What are you talking about? And he's like, no, that's not how I meant it. And child, Derek is just sitting there shaking his head like, oh my God, Wes, you idiot. You just f***ed up our entire plan with that statement. See how y'all keep putting y'all funky ass feet in your mouths and you mess up everything? Everything, Wes, you didn't need to say that at all. So now he's fighting for his life at this point. Wes is fighting for his life because everyone is coming for him. And I was like, damn, it's over. Wes, you going home. Y'all might as well do the vote right now. But Carolyn said, hold on, baby, because I got something to say. So she jumps in and she's like, hold up, stop the press. Y'all are using Wes as a scapegoat, and there are multiple lies going around, and she pulls on their emotions and she's telling them, look, I've never fit in anywhere. I've always been the quirky girl. I didn't fit in at school. I didn't fit in at home. I don't fit in here, okay? And I thought that I found a real friend when I got here. I felt so lucky. I thought that I found a true friend in Danielle until I heard that she was telling multiple people that I was a traitor. And not only that I was a traitor, but she has been lying on me and creating chaos. Then she mentions the conversation where Brittany told her that someone said that she put her name out there and she automatically knew it was Danielle. And Danielle straight up lies. And she's like, you did say Brittany's name. Carolyn starts crying. She's like, no, I did not. Child, Danielle is saying anything she needs to say to save her ass at this point, but I'm sure that is what anyone would do in this situation, but it is so hilarious, all right? So Carolyn is trying to get everyone to focus on Danielle and not Wes, and Danielle is telling Carolyn that she's letting her emotions make this a personal thing, and it's not a personal thing, just pure chaos at this round table. So Derek, he makes one final remark, one final plea, begging everyone to get off of Wes and focus on Boston Rob, because he says that there's no concrete reason to vote for Wes, and he's right. The way that Derek laid out play for play, how Boston Rob has been moving, also the way that Wes laid it out for the round table, there's no reason, if they're thinking and they're not using emotion, there's no reason why they shouldn't have picked Boston Rob, okay? There's no reason why. They really had no concrete reason to vote for Wes other than, what's her name? Chriselle saying that he's aggressive. Girl, what? But Derek makes it completely clear that he will be voting for Boston Rob tonight based on facts, not feelings. And he's still trying to tell everyone to vote for B-Rob. This round table was so chaotic and messy. I loved every second of it, but now it is time to finally vote, and everyone and their mama is confused on what to do, and baby Derek is absolutely terrified, all right? So the votes are coming in. Dylan votes for Wes. Carolyn votes for Danielle. You see how she did that, Chriselle? You see how Carolyn said what she needed to say? She didn't apologize or anything. Straight up. I love how Carolyn is moving in this episode. So we see Rob, he voted for Wes, but that was expected. Child, Danielle votes for Boston Rob as well. I know that Danielle was so shook when she flipped that card over, because she's like, child, if Boston Rob don't go home tonight, he gonna red rum me. He gonna red rum me next. And the votes are coming in for Wes and Boston Rob, and they are neck and neck at this point, and it's down to Sierra's vote to either tie the vote or banish Wes. And she voted for Wes, and I said, damn. I said, damn, I know that Derek and Danielle were pissing their pants during that moment, all right? So it is the circle of truth time, and Wes, he lets them know that he's better than all of them. He's like, look, I'm better than all of you in here, and I'm aggressive, yeah, because I play hard, I play to win, and I wanted to be a traitor. I asked Alan to make me a traitor because I don't care about any of you. The way that Wes went in during the circle of truth moment had me cracking up. He's like, I don't give a damn about any of y'all. Y'all are just chess pieces to me. And he was like, I am a faithful. And baby, Wes gave them the finger and he turned around and he left. And I was like, period, Wes. Period. I feel like they deserve that because they really had no reason to pick him. They really didn't. And of course, everyone is shocked and pissed that they have banished yet another faithful. But Derek, he still has his eye on Boston Rob, and he says that he has faith that after this round table, after how this went down, people will finally open their eyes, wake their asses up, and they will work to get Boston Rob out of here, all right? So next we see Boston Rob. He's thanking all of the people who didn't vote for him, and he's promising that he's a faithful. And then we see Brittany. She pulls Derek aside, and she's like, look, I have a bone to pick with you. I need to speak with you privately because I am upset. So she tells them that he's a dirty scumbag liar for not telling her that he was actually leading the charge against Boston Rob. But Derek says, look, I didn't tell you because I noticed that you've been getting a little too close to Boston Rob. And she's like, yeah, because I don't think he's a traitor. And Derek was like, yeah, maybe because you're a traitor. And child, the look of utter shock on Brittany's face had me cracking up. She was like, me? A traitor? I'm not a traitor. So then they start going back and forth about Wes being sent home. And now Brittany is mad that Derek even suggested that she's a traitor. And Derek immediately, he goes to Dylan and he tells him, look, now I think that Boston Rob and Brittany are traitors. I think they're working together. This is so messy. This show, like, it's hard to take notes for this show. I'm going to just have like a moment with y'all. It's so hard to take notes for this show because it's like, what? What happened? And this person said what? And that person said what? And this episode in particular had me cracking up. The way that everyone was just running back and forth, talking shit about each other. It was the funniest thing to me. Okay, so back to this scene. Derek says that he does not understand why Brittany is defending Boston Rob so hard, and they just met. He's like, you don't even know this man. What is it that's there that's keeping her so close to him? That is why he thinks that they're both traitors. And while they're having this conversation, Brittany walks in and she just like looks at them, rolls her eyes, and she walks out. And Derek is like, see? You see? That's what I'm talking about. That's why she walked out, because she knows it's true. Just a mess. But Derek is smart because he knows that if he gets red rummed, all Boston Rob is going to do to cover his ass is say, oh my God, look, the traitors are setting me up. That's why they got rid of Derek. They're trying to set me up. I'm a faithful. I'm not a traitor. And he is 1000% right. That is exactly what Boston Rob will say. And now Dylan is on board with the Brittany theory because he does feel like Brittany has been flying under the radar, but he doesn't really say anything about Boston Rob because we know that Dylan feels some type of allegiance to Boston Rob, especially since he helped him banish Bob the drag queen, the first traitor, right? So we're going to see where that goes. Now it is time for an awkward ass turret meeting after they all just stabbed each other in the back at the round table, okay? So they're standing there in silence for a while, but Carolyn is like, look, let's just get it all out here, all right? We might as well. It's done already. And Boston Rob is like, look, I thought we had an agreement, guys. What's going on? I thought that we were going to stick together. And Danielle reiterates that her uneasiness only started after what B-Rob did to Bob the drag queen. But B-Rob feels like he had to do it because he called him out. And I am with B-Rob on that. Bob the drag queen did not have to say his name explicitly to put a target on his back. He didn't. There are only 3 new guys. He shouldn't have said it at all right? But Danielle is still lying and telling Caroline that she never said her name and she never lied on her. And Danielle is still trying to play in Carolyn's face to the point where even B-Rob is like, Carolyn didn't say Brittany's name. What? Why are you telling people that Carolyn said Brittany's name? And she's like, well, I meant it in a different way. No, she didn't say Brittany's name in the way I told Brittany she said it, but she said her name, girl. Child, the way that Boston Rob and Carolyn are looking at Danielle right now with pure shock, like, girl, what are you doing right now? And Danielle, she's looking at them with the face like, What y'all gonna do about it? Y'all, you not gonna do nothing about it, child. Danielle better not be shocked if Carolyn and B-Rob team up and get her ass out of here next week. And as soon as I wrote that, Carolyn was like, look, we just gonna have to go after you. The way that I screamed, and B-Rob is looking at Carolyn like, who is this woman? Who are you? And what have you done with Carolyn? Because B-Rob is all about being sneaky, right? Doing things behind people's back. So he just can't believe that Carolyn is saying this right to Danielle, right to her face. Like, girl, I'm about to come for you. It is what it is. But Danielle, she lets him know, look, whatever y'all try, I'm going to fight back. So you can bring it. Carolyn is like, oh, girl, what you going to do? Just spread more lies about me because you don't have anything on me. And Danielle's like, oh, yes, I do. I do have a lot on you. No, you don't, Danielle, because if you did, then you wouldn't have had to lie to Brittany, okay? You would have had some real facts to bring to Brittany. You did not. You had to lie. So stop it, all right? So, child, this episode ends with Danielle and Carolyn letting each other know that all bets are off and they're going to come for each other. Straight like that, period, all right? And B-Rob is like, oh my God, what's happening? This is a complete mess. If y'all don't know, I know some of y'all know, but some of y'all don't. This is my first season watching Traitors. Does this usually happen? Do the Traitors butt heads like this? Do they plot against each other like this so early in the game? Because this has my head spinning and it has me cracking up. Let me know in the comments what they usually do, because this is a hot ass mess, all right? But I cannot wait for the next episodes. These 2 episodes were so good. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching with me. I've really been enjoying this show. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe before you leave. Put your comments down below. Hit the notification bell so that you're made aware when I post. And I cannot wait to see you in my next video. Bye!
Roxiie says we're gonna talk about it.